You're still watching Prime Morning. You know, today being the 14th of November, you know what time it is, right? Well, it is all about the Joy Prime Made in Ghana time. And today is the grand opening, and we will have a very good ceremony at the Good Park, and we'll have it being graced by the CEO of Ghana Tourism Authority, Mr. Kwesi Appiah. He'll be there to grace the occasion for us. If you want to be a part of it, you can make way to the Good Park at exactly 2 p.m. and let's officially open the Made in Ghana Fair. It will run all the way from today to Sunday, and today is the happy hour, where we call it happy hour after hours. We told you not to stay in traffic, and so if you're going home, you find yourself in traffic, don't worry at all, just stop at the Good Park. Andy Dusty will be on the turntable for us to be jiving, so there'll be lots to eat, lots to drink, and lots to buy from. On Saturday is when we are having our fashion show. All we tell you to do is to wear how you guys should dress wherever you hail from. So if you're from the Volta region, you have a special way of dressing during your traditional marriage ceremony, dress like that. If you're from the north, dress like that. If you're from the Ashanti region, dress like that. We want to see the variety of, outfits put together. It will be beautiful. And we will give the best dressed person an award. Yep. Very true, we'll do that. And so we'll have our fashion show on Saturday. And on Sunday, we'll have our cooking competition. Now, I've been announcing the cooking competition for a while now. And so phone calls started coming in. People are like, Roslyn, we want to take part in the cooking competition. I say, don't worry. Now, this is what we want to do. We want you to come and cook your hometown dish. So wherever you hail from, if you're a Ghana, come and cook the kinky and the pepper and the shito, and let's taste and see if you are the best. If you are an ever, maybe akple or fetidechi or, the abobitadis, come and prepare it. If you are from the Ashanti region, come and do the fufu. If you're from the north, come and do the tubani, come and do the tangkwambia, come and do, all the teasers and all. Want to see variety of dishes being prepared. So we are giving you opportunity to come and cook your hometown dish for us to also, taste this as well. So it's going to be a fantastic event, and this will happen on Sunday. We can't wait to see all of you at the Good Park for the Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair. And of course, items are discounted, so you don't have to worry. It's not going to break your bank at all. You come. If the item was being sold in town for like $350, you might be paying $300, saving 50 cedis on it. Imagine buying 2 items. Instead of paying like $700, you're paying $600. Don't pay enough happening. Right now, every little drop counts. And so come to the Good Park for this great event. Now, today, we want to talk about red flags and green flags. Now, when we hear of red flags, some people think, oh, the flag is red. Oh, what is a green flag? And, people ask the question, it will amaze you. There are people who don't even know what a red flag is and what a green flag is. They just go into a relationship, or they say, oh, okay, no, everything will be fine. And they stay in there and they struggle. And so today is about time we talk about red flags and green flags before we even decide to go into a relationship. Or when we're in a relationship, we notice it before we decide to take the next step, that is making it marriage. And so I have with me Mr. Frank Love, who is an author, a relationship and life coach here. Hi, Frank.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm superb.
Great.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
Great. And I can't wait to hear your opinion on it, because you don't live in Ghana. So we always say that the red flags in Ghana and the red flags somewhere else are different. So today we'll be comparing the flags. And I have with me Selassie Doku. She is licensed counselor. She's also a life strategist. She's a CEO for MedFocus International and also the founder of 360 Lifestyle. Hi, Selassie.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. Yourself?
It's good to have you here.
Yeah.
I'm good too, And like I asked and I said, there are people who don't even know what red flag is. So when we say red flag, you'll be wondering, what are they talking about this morning? Don't worry, Selassie will explain what red flag is to us.
Sure.
So what's the red flag, Selassie?
Yeah, sure. So usually when we talk about something being red, it's like a warning sign, an amber, an alert to say that, watch out for this, watch out for that. So talking about relationship, when we talk about what a red flag is in a relationship, we're saying that what are the warning signs, what are the ambers that you need to look out for, what are the alerts that you need to look out for. What is it that could in the near future cause you emotional problems, or issues in the relationship that you want to watch out for. And so red flags basically is what the warning signs that you want to look out for before you enter into a relationship or whilst in a relationship, what you want to look out for, basically.
Okay. Wow, so that is what we look for. And when we talk about green flags, what are we talking about, Frank?
The other side, instead of the things that you want to be careful of or you want to be cautious of, the things that you are happy about, happy to see. This person has a great relationship with their family. Things like that.
Are red flags a cut across for everybody, or everybody has their own red flags that you look out for?
I think that there's some things that are universal, and there's some things that are specific to you.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So if we talk about the universal ones, which ones are we really taking a look at and saying that this is a universal red flag? Do not go for it. Because there are some women who don't mind if their men are womanizers. So maybe that being a red flag could be like a universal red flag, but probably that person doesn't mind.
So if you talk about universal red flags, I mean, general red flags that we would want to look out for, I would think of, I would think of, for a moment, I lost my thought. So I'll think of, if, let's say, financially, I mean, financial red flags are, I mean, things that you want to look out for.
Like
you
what,
want
he
to
doesn't
look
have money?
No, not money, but what is the relationship that this person has with money?
Okay.
Every individual has a relationship with money, and it might not be compatible with your relationship with money. He's a spender, you are frugal. How does that work for you? Another red flag is the person abusive. This is general. I don't think that it's healthy for anybody to be in an abusive relationship, be it financial abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, whichever abuse that is. It's a red flag that we want to look out for, because a relationship is in being in a relationship is for the long haul. That's what we all want to be in a relationship for the long haul. And so if there's certain something like abuse, something like infidelity, does that sit well with you?
Right.
Do you accept that? Is that compatible with or does that align with your beliefs, that align with your goals and your values? You want to look at some of these things. You want to look at things like their upbringing, because certain upbringings has a way of actually making the people behave in a certain way that is not compatible with the relationships that they want to enter. So these are general red flags that you want to look out for. And again, I wouldn't say spiritually. Are you compatible spiritually? What are some of the things if, what the other person believes in, even between two Christians, one person believes in tithe and the other person doesn't believe in tithe, it's a red flag right there.
Wow.
Yes.
Can't you convince the other person to start believing what you believe in?
So that would take us into the green flag. If the person is accepting, is the person, or you are both accepting, you both have want to build a relationship so that you have common values and things, then you might weigh the options and come to a compromise and say, this is what would be our guiding tool for the relationship that we are going to be in. Some may decide that, okay, you take what you believe in, I'll take it, but then when we meet at this point, this is how it's going to be. So, I mean, you have to weigh all the options and then put your cards on the table. I always say that relationships are, most of the time we think that a relationship is you just fall into a relationship.
Right.
A relationship is a decision.
Okay.
To have a relationship with someone is something that you decide. And so there are things you need to look out for. There are things you need to talk about. What are the person's personal growth philosophies? Is that compatible with your personal growth philosophies? Will the person be supportive enough? Would you be supportive of the other person growing in their personal space? What is their ideology about how helping society,
right?
Being there for somebody else, being considerate of other people. You want to, do they, how possessive are they?
All these things could be a red flag.
All these things.
But it depends on you, right? It depends on you as an individual, because, what will be somebody's red flag could be your green flag, isn't it, Frank?
I think that's true. One of the things that I really want to put out there, very important, is the biggest red flag, or one of the primary red flags, is you. And it's important that you understand who you are when you're going into a relationship and your purpose, what you're trying to achieve when going into the relationship. Do you just want to be in a relationship? If that's the case, you may want to not be in a relationship at that period of time because you don't have a good, healthy reason for doing so. And if you're going into a relationship without being in a good place, you're going to bring, it's highly likely that you're going to bring chaos in the first place to yourself. That's a red flag that you don't have to look at, where you don't have to look at anyone else. You can just look at yourself.
Okay, so looking at yourself, after looking at yourself, but then your partner is also carrying some red flags, because sometimes you correct yourself, and it takes two to build a relationship, you know. So sometimes you've worked on yourself, but there's a but with your partner, and so then you are seeing certain signs. When do you realize that this is a complete red flag and I must walk out of it?
Now, that's a complex question, because as we've already touched on, people are different. People have different values, and it may be something. Well, you touched on womanizing, what you noted as womanizing. Now, that for some people might not be an issue, and it could be the very opposite for men. I mean, what do you call a woman who has multiple partners? Manizer? I don't know, but it may be something that some people can deal with, live with, and be fine with.
Right.
It just varies. Yes.
So what if, let me ask you this. Should society be a decider of a red flag for you in the relationship?
So society might decide that if you're being abused, actually, if you live in a country where they have laws, the law says that you don't, laying your hands on another person is illegal. So that's one of the societal laws that society may not accept. But again, for the individual who is in that relationship, some people say, once I'm malhandled, that's when I feel like loved and all of that. There's that belief for some people. And so, but then when it crosses the line, when does it cross the line? When it crosses the line, when now your life is in danger, somebody would have to step in and say, this is where the line, you have to draw the line. Family members, friends can say, this is not the right thing to do. You cannot allow yourself. For all you know, this individual is not even in the right frame of mind mentally to be able to make a decision for themselves. And so then society, friends and society can say that we don't accept this. This infringes on the laws or on the beliefs of our society. And so we have to make a move. If I have a friend who I see is being abused in a really verbal, physically and all of that, and the person means a lot to me, I would have to say something.
I will have
to, yes, I will have to say something.
Are you not stepping out of your place?
With consent from the friend, I can actually say that, look, it is my responsibility to say that, no, this is harming you, and we have to talk about it. Because if we lose that individual as a society, we've lost a human being. And that is when I believe that, when the harm is, somebody's causing harm to another person, you can't just be an onlooker.
Yeah. You spoke about financial, abuse, where it becomes a red flag at a point in time. Now, I want to ask Frank this. In Ghana here, it's like the men are the ones supposed to take care of the home. They say the man's money is for the woman, but the woman's money is for her. And that's what it is. Is the same out there?
It's some people say the same thing.
Okay.
A very small fraction of the people say the same thing.
Okay.
But in the U.S., primarily, everybody goes to work. And everybody goes to work, and at some level,
all go to work.
I get it. But at every level, at some level, both are expected to bring resources to the home and contribute financially. That's the general expectation in the U.S.
So then when does it become a red flag? When do you say this is financial abuse? Is it when he's not giving the woman money? Because there's a case whereby where you are or where you're coming from, it's more or less like a 50-50. But in Ghana, it's not really a 50-50. And so for Ghana, if a man is not giving the woman the money, we say there's sort of financial abuse and not taking care of the children. But in abroad, it's not so.
It is looked at differently.
Okay.
Now, there's, in the U.S., you also have public assistance, you have welfare, you got a lot going on in the U.S. that you may not have going on in Ghana. But generally speaking, it is considered, a man is expected to take care of his family. I mean, that's consistent between both, yes. And if he doesn't, he may be looked down on by his family, he may be looked down on by his peers, society, all of that good stuff.
And so is it really a red flag in the States?
Oh, it's definitely a red flag. I mean, one of the things women look for in Ghana and in families in Ghana and in the U.S. is the ability for a man to provide for his family.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But in Ghana, it's a huge red flag if you're not doing it.
So, I mean, it's a red flag. It all boils down from what the relationship is made up of, what the understandings and the agreements of the relationship. Yes, a man is supposed to be a provider. You know, a woman has the roles are cut out, sort of. But in that peculiar relationship, it could be that the woman is earning more than the man. Does that mean that? And there's so many relationships that the woman earns more than the man, and they're cool. Everything is working out perfectly, and nobody even knows that it's the woman that is keeping up. You know, but then it looks like these things would go beyond just the idea of the money. There are a bit of personality traits coming in here. If I don't have it and you have it, and we're merging it, or we are, living together, you know, working out life, what is wrong with that? Okay, but then does that innate, does that desire for a woman to be taken care of by a man? It's natural. Okay, because the woman is the man, you know, it's a hunter. And with going out there. Now women are also hunting though, but there's that natural instinct for a woman to be taken care of. And so if that is not done, then the woman feels like, oh, my man is not capable. But that in itself is not an abuse per se.
Okay.
Because the man probably doesn't have it.
And it's not a red flag.
And it's not, I don't think it's a red flag.
There are people who have actually left their relationship or their marriages because their partners lost their job.
So most of the time, when you go deep into such relation, you realize that it's not because the man didn't have the money per se, but all the other encomiums that come with it. So the man doesn't have the money, and he's not being kind about the fact that the woman is actually is the provider, and is not accepting. Now egos flare in there because you have the money, you think you are the boss, and probably it is not the case. And so that is where most of the problems come from. If we know that this is a situation that we are in, or probably the man is not making an attempt to be productive, then there's a problem. But most of the time when you look in there, it's not really about the fact that the man doesn't have the money, or the man has the money, but it's just being stingy with it.
Can we work on red flags? Or when we say red flags, it means completely walk out of the relationship?
Before, there's something I want to interject. The concept of red flags, as far as I'm concerned, is just something that could occur where you realize down the line, this could be an issue. This could show up again and be a bigger problem.
Right.
Like, it's a small problem now, it could be a bigger problem later. There are a lot of things that fall under that category. And it's very important.
Like what? Can you give us examples?
Oh man, the way we deal when we're triggered, meaning the way we deal when we're angry, the way we deal when we don't know the answer to something or we feel embarrassed. These are very important things to take a look at when we're selecting a partner. And keep in mind, one of the easy ways to determine this is time. You really have to invest time in a person, in a relationship, in order to decipher this. Now, I'm not saying you have to. There are people who will meet today and marry today. It has happened. But you're gonna pay everybody's going to pay. You're going to pay now or you're going to pay later. So you can pay by putting in time right now to be able to determine whether this is a quote unquote ideal or better person for you, or you're going to pay later because you didn't pay now, and you're going to be discovering what those things, those challenges, how they deal with anger once you're already very much in the relationship. But you're going to pay.
You're going to pay.
Yes.
Wow. So if we talk about you paying, I still want to know if it's fixable, because some people will say some red flags are a complete no. It just tells you that walk out of the relationship. And some will tell you that with time you can fix it. So can it be fixed or it can't be fixed?
So, you know, a relationship are choices that we make, and you want to make informed choices. So knowing that there are these red flags, it depends on what you believe in as an individual. Is it possible that, is it something that you can compromise with? Let's say if this person is dishonest, okay, if you have an individual that you're in, and the person is not trustworthy, trust is one of the foundational things of a relationship, and this person simply cannot be trusted. Everything that this person has told you has never checked out. It's a decision that you have to make. These are choices you have to make. Do I choose to stay in that relationship, and for me, I would say that I would check out, because trust issues goes along with a lot of other things. If the person has poor communication issues, well, what is the level of the communication that the person is able to have? Is it possible to have a frank communication about it and then try and build it? So it depends on what the red flag is and whether it aligns with your goals, your values that you have. So that is when the decision comes in. You will have to make a choice. But if you're making an informed decision or an informed choice, then you know that, okay, this red flag is set, but I decide that I would work with it.
Right. Which you could pay for it.
And which you would pay, but then what is it? Your mind is prepared. You are prepared. You already know. That's why you need to look and look and look again, so that you are prepared in your mind. If you know that this guy, and sometimes we say love is blind. Love is not so blind. The signs were there. We just decided or chose not to pay attention. Because they were there. And then years down the line, you're like, oh, I noticed that, yes, it was there, but you decided not to take a look at it. And probably if you had decided then that, okay, this is a red flag, but then this is how I intend to deal with it and be okay with it, that is up to the individual to decide.
Okay. So now, after this, that you have decided to either stay in or walk away, let's talk about some of the green flags that we have to now look at as well. So if we talk about the green flags, what are we really looking out for to say, this partner, I see these green flags and I have to stay with this person?
Let's be clear, it depends on the person.
Okay.
But it also, the things that would come up for me, how they deal with money. I am relatively generous.
Okay.
Now, my wife is more conservative than I am. It's a complementary relationship, generally speaking. Now, how you deal with, who your friends are. Meaning who her friends are, the characteristics of her friends, how they deal with their partners. These are big deals.
Okay.
Yes. Another piece may very well be how you deal with the waiter at the restaurant. These are little things. How you deal with your parents, how you deal with your siblings, how you deal in a charitable fashion. You can call these green flags. Now, I mean, I'm just putting the category out there, but in order to make it a green flag, it has to be something I smile at as it pertains to how you deal with the waiter. I love talking to people.
Okay.
So when I'm at a restaurant, I want to know your name. I want to know one thing about you, and what you're up to.
Okay.
And that's going to tell you something about me. And I'm going to be looking to see something about you and how you deal with that person also.
Okay.
There are people who do not speak to the waiter unless they're telling them what their order is. They don't want to they don't want to have anything to do with you. Go away. That would rub me wrong. Yeah. Yeah.
So the green flags are different for everybody, like you said.
Sure.
Okay.
So yes, they're different for everybody, but there are some fundamental ones that you want to look at. You want to look at, is the person empathetic? How do they show kindness? Is the individual trustworthy? So you've noticed that this person's, his yes is yes, his no is no. What are the boundaries that this individual, this individual has some boundaries, you know, that individual keeps to? You want, is this person healthy mentally? How do they resolve conflict? How do they resolve their conflicts? Okay, because how a person resolves their conflict is very important. Speaks a lot more about the individual, you know. So you want to look at, so if you see that this person is more kind, want to be a good listener, is empathetic towards family members, colleagues, is generally a nice person and probably has your interest at heart, and you also have the interest of this person at heart. These are some of the things that you want to see in a relationship. You want to see, does this person actually have your interest? What is this person's ideology about personal growth? Being in a relationship, because we evolve the whole. So how is this person, you know, how does the person take my growth? Do they consider that I may want to venture into something that will grow me personally? You know, these are some of the things that, you know, you meet somebody and you realize that this person is a listener, wants to know how I feel, wants to know how I'm doing. There are people who don't even ask you how you're doing.
Yes.
And they are just about their business.
But you know, there are people that are so nice to people outside, but they are never nice to you. So, like your example of you talk to the waiter, maybe that person you beat, person is so nice to the waiter, so nice to the outside world, always giving to them. But when it comes to home, it's not like that.
It's absolutely possible.
Yeah.
And that's a red flag.
That's a red flag.
It's a red flag. I mean, this person probably is just gaslighting you. And then when you bring up the conversation that, I mean, it looks like you are being nice to people outside, and when it comes to me, and you're like, no, you're thinking that's not how, they're just gaslighting you. And it's a red flag. It's a red flag right there. But it's possible.
But him being nice to people outside could be a green flag, right?
It's all about you and how you. Some people don't want a partner who's nice to the waiter.
Okay.
Some people want to ignore the waiter and want your partner to ignore the waiter, and that's a red flag for them.
I mean, if this individual, okay, you notice that this individual is nice to the waiter, but is not so. I mean, there are a few things that you will notice that probably doesn't even say thank you, please. These little, you know, values that and it is not coming, and you wonder that should actually raise some concerns for you, or the person is being possessive of who you talk to, how you dress, and you think, and some people might interpret that as love. But true. To what degree? To the point that when you cough, he has to approve of it. That is a red flag. But if a person genuinely cares about you and actually values your opinion about what you want to do, that is something that you can work with. But when it's like, oh no, this is how I want it, and they might even say in a very nice way, this is how I want you to look like. This is how, and it goes on and on. Over time, it would escalate where the true self will just burst out.
Right.
And it turns into something else. So yes, as much as we're looking out for the green lights, we still have to, there's a fine line.
Between the good and the bad.
Sure.
And that is where the issue is, because some people struggle to tell that this is a green light and this is a red light. Because like the example that, you know, Frank gave, speaking with waiters, could be a green flag, but he comes home and he's not taking care of the house, is a red flag. And so now you're struggling to have a fine balance in there. And you're even struggling to say that, okay, he has so many green flags, but there's this one red flag that is a struggle for me. So what do I do with that red flag? If the person has like 10 green flags, okay, but one red major flag, what do you do?
I would say it is dependent on the values that you have and what is a deal breaker for you. The person could have 10 green flags, but for this particular one is the very one that is important to you, that you value. Are you able to compromise with it in the long haul? If you can't do that, it's a difficult situation. Let's give an example of infidelity. You know that you want to have your man to yourself, you want to have your woman to yourself, and that is the value that you believe in. And this man says, I'm nice, I provide for you, I can provide everything that you need, I'll make sure you have the best of everything, I have your interests, you can go to the moon and back and everything, but then I am not going to leave that portion of that portion of his life, that part, don't go there. As an individual, is that what you want? Can you live with it? If you can't live with it, then all the nice things doesn't really mean anything, because for you, that infidelity is a no-no for you. So it doesn't matter. All the other 9 doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter.
So it's an individual decision.
Wow. So you throw away the 9 because of one?
Are you able to cope with the fact that you'll be being at home and knowing that your husband or your wife is with another man or woman? Is that what you want? Some people are able to cope with it. They're like, they have their own coping mechanisms, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe self-defense mechanisms that they use. Oh, even in the Bible, King Solomon had 300 concubines. So then that's how they cope with it. So it's okay with them. But how about the ones that also, Adam and Eve, it was just the 2 of them.
All right. Same for you?
I've got a different take on it.
Okay, so let's cross over to the good pack for want to take a look at what is happening there at the good pack. I want to see exactly how the setup is ongoing. So very soon we'll be crossing over. But you said you have a different take on it. What's your take on it?
I would say those 9 things matter.
Okay.
They matter a lot. And they're things that we get to assess ourselves without anybody talking to us, without our parents, anybody. I mean, now it's important to take into consideration what history says, what other people's experiences have been, but then it's also important to sit with ourselves and determine what is important to us.
Okay.
And if something isn't important, it isn't important. And it could have been important to you, but it's not important to me. So that 9th thing that you found to be egregious, it's not a big deal to me.
Trivial.
Because I grew up poor, or I grew up hungry. So having money and something to eat is the biggest important piece to me.
Okay.
And I don't care what he or she does, when she leaves here, or he leaves here. That's not. It depends on who you are.
Right.
But there's something I want to also chat about.
Go ahead.
There's another piece that I think is important to when assessing the person that we are considering or we're with, and that's how they talk about their previous partners, how they talk about their previous relationship. It's a big deal. There are people who badmouth their exes, who are deeply invested in badmouthing their exes, and it says a lot about them. There are other people who just said it didn't work out, and they're fine. They're fine with.
So which is best, the person that doesn't talk about it, or the person that talks about it?
What's best for who? Me? What I would value was the person who's willing to say it just didn't work out.
Okay.
Yeah. These are some of the challenges that we dealt with. This is what I did. This is what my partner did. It didn't work out. I'm better suited here. My partner is better suited elsewhere.
Right, okay. So the Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair is actually starting today, and I did tell you that at exactly 2 p.m. we'll have our opening ceremony. But before then, there's a lot of setup that's going on, and we'll be crossing over soon to the Good Pack to see exactly how the setup is ongoing. Actually, I think we should cross over now and take a look at what is going on at the Good Pack. Take a look at it.
It is the most anticipated day of the month right here. It is the the most anticipated day of the month here at the Good Park. Yes, it is the Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair, guys. And if you're not as excited as I am, then I don't know what. So right here at the Accra Mall, right behind the Accra Mall, is the Good Park. And happening for the next 3 days, you'll see, a lot of beautiful Ghanaian and genuine Ghanaian crafts being unfolded in the next coming days. But today, we will be launching the official launch of the Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair. What are you to expect when you pass by? I'm talking about clothes, I'm talking about jewelry, I'm talking about bags. Hey, I even hear there are some electric cars and some earrings that I promise to be getting myself soon. So before we step into what will be unfolding in the next 3 days, why don't we take a quick sweep at what is happening here? So all right, so it is about done, but guys, let's not forget that this is not just a fair. We are also looking at this as an investment into Ghanaian craftsmanship. And who else is to buy Ghana if not us? So Rosalind, take it away. For the next 1 hour or 2 hours, we will be officially launching the Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair. Well, why don't you be here with us?
So at exactly 2 o'clock, we are going to the Good Park for the official opening of the Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair, and I'm excited about it. Of course, you've already seen, I saw some lovely kente, I saw fragrance. I'm like, yo, I'm going to that fragrance stand though, because anybody who knows me knows how much I love my perfumes. I don't joke with perfumes at all. So I'm definitely getting fragrance. I'm going to get a kente because, Christmas is just around the corner. I saw some boo-boo and lovely outfit and beads and all. So I'm coming. Yo, wait for me. I'm coming.
We'll all be there.
We'll all go there, right?
Sure.
That was my question. Can I come?
Yes, everybody's invited.
Okay, all right.
So we are going to the Good Park from here, and the grand opening is happening at exactly 2 p.m. And so if you want to be there, of course, it's open to all. Just make sure that you are there for the grand opening. It runs all the way from today to Sunday, where we'll crown it with a cooking competition. So yes, we are still here talking about red flags, and the red flags and the green flags. It's very difficult for one to be able to even tell it. And another thing is how even our religion, our churches make us think that some things might be red flags, but probably they are not. So that's it.
Yeah, so I think that when it comes to our religion, religious settings, it's like we always say, fama nyame, enyeshi, just cast your bed. Yes, we believe in all of that. But when there's abuse, when there's physical abuse, when there's individual, you are hurting to the point that the relationship is not being healthy. You have to think about it, because there's always tomorrow. If it's not fulfilling the purpose for which God brought you onto this earth. Now, for instance, you have, you are dating someone, and the red flags are that you're schooling, and the person says, stop schooling and let's get married. It's like, no, stop schooling and let's get married. Really, it's a personal growth thing for this individual. Is it possible for us to wait, or can we still get married and still go to school? How do we share in this vision? If outright is like, no, school is not important, let's get married, and then sometimes the church will say, the marriage is important. That's what. I have a problem there, because life is not just about marriage. Actually, the partner that you choose goes a long way to determine the outcomes of your life.
Yeah.
And so if this individual is not actually in tune with what you believe in as well, how does that work out for you? So we need to have open communications, open conversations about what we are getting into before we even do.
Right. So we have a message coming in. Good morning. I have been in a relationship with this guy for 1 year and some months now. Everything is going on well between us until I visited him. From there, one of the elder brothers visited and asked him which tribe I am. He told the elder brother about my tribe, which is Ever. And in one of their conversations, the brother made it clear to him that they don't marry an Ever woman. And even if they do, the marriage don't last. Since then, he started acting unconcerned about me, and our communication is not like before. He's a Krobo guy in the eastern region. For 5 days now, we haven't been in touch with each other, and he doesn't reply my messages either. Please, what should I do about this situation? Wow. This one says, good morning. Is it good for a married woman to give out her contact to other men, even on social media such as Facebook? And how do I approach my wife with this issue? Patrick from Hohoi. All right, good morning, Rosalind. Pretty as always. Okay, help me help the girl child in my school with education and importance of education through few donation, please. I'm begging. Okay, we'll see what we can do about this one. Okay. All right, so let's tackle the two questions. You know, my boyfriend is Krobo. His brother says we don't marry ever a woman because it never lasts. So now he's moved away from her. What should she do?
Well, this is it. You were in a relationship with this guy before you met his brother. The guy knew that you were Ewe and he didn't have a problem. His brother comes along and says that we don't marry Ewes, but you were fine with it. Didn't you? You didn't know. Let's just assume that the guy didn't know. And then because his brother said, for me being the girl, I would want to look at this individual, my boyfriend's personal, who controls him? Is he a man of his own? Is he able to make choices for himself? It's a red flag. It's a red flag in the sense that if this man cannot make his own decisions and decide to know what he wants, I want to find out what business do I have being with such a man. And for days, or let's just say that he's processing the whole thing, and probably after 5 days, let's just say he would come out and make a decision about it. So let's give ourselves some time and see what he comes. So maybe he's processing it, whether he's going to go with what his brother said or he wants to stay with the woman that he loves.
Would it be right for him to sit down with her and have a conversation? Communication is key, rather than staying away from her for 5 days. That's
and
the
not
red
responding
flag,
to her messages.
Exactly.
So people have different ways of healing and processing things. Yes. So it is possible that he's trying to process it. So that's why I was like, let's give him some time, a little bit of time, and see what he comes out with.
Okay.
For all you know, he's trying to process this whole thing. That is how he deals. That is his coping mechanism. That is how he deals with situations. So let's just give ourselves some time and see how. But if by your brother saying we don't marry ever, we don't, and suddenly you go monocomunicado on me, that's a real red flag.
What about you, Frank?
Oh, my answer is real simple. What does she do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Let it unfold. It will, if he's not communicating with her, allow him to not communicate and move on. And if he decides to communicate with her,
she should respond?
She can if she wants. And if she doesn't want to, she can move on also. But it's all just information. She's just learning that the family has a way of looking at her tribe. She's learning that the brother has a way of processing, and that may be to not talk. It may be to cut people off. Remember, well, I don't know if we talked about this, but one of the pieces that I think is important is to be able to talk about, this is how I probably break up with you. And this comes up right here. And mind you, this is a piece of my book. This is how I'd probably break up with you, and this is how I'd like to be broken up with. These are important conversations to have, and you get valuable information when you have these conversations. And you can just take the information in. That's it. Just take the information in. She doesn't have to do anything.
She doesn't have to do anything. What about the...
It's a non-verbal communication anyway.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What about the other, question? It says, my wife has been giving her number out to people, even on Facebook, and he's not too happy about it.
Well, is the wife a business owner? What business does she run? Does she need to give her number to these people to run the business? what is she doing on Facebook? Probably she has a business or something that she's offering on Facebook, and she needs to give her number to these individuals. So you can't just say that she shouldn't, because she might be running a business. She might be doing some kind of education.
What if she's running a business, but she's just a nice person?
And to what end? To what end is she giving the number out? You want to find, oh, what's actually happening? Oh, giving your numbers out. I mean, are you just being a nice person? I mean, does he even know the temperament of this lady?
I hope it's his wife, right?
Yes, what?
Yeah, I
Does he even know? Because if you have a sanguine wife and you don't understand who a sanguine is, you might have problems thinking, because they're around. You might have problems with something of that sort. She might not see anything wrong with it. And so counseling, premarital counseling, is very important in looking out for red flags and how you deal with all of these things, because it helps you adjust, it helps you to know who you're dealing with, and it brings out a lot of issues out where you can adjust properly and understand what the choices that you are making going forward. So, I mean, premarital counseling is not only for, even in a relationship, you can actually seek counseling.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is not premarital.
It might not be premarital, but then you might have certain things that you want to have clarify or clarity on, and be able to understand what you're dealing with. There are people who've never even taken their temperament test before. They don't even know who they are.
That's so true.
Because they are the good sides, the positives and the negatives of every temperament. But there's the way that you deal with it. Do you even know who you are? Do you even know who your partner is?
I think that's what Frank said from the beginning. Know who you are. That's the first red flag. When you know who you are, you'll be able to manage the situation. We want to go back to the Good Park and see what is happening. And when we come back, we can round up the conversation.
Head of compliance. And we're still here at the Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair at the Good Park. If you're not coming, I don't know what you're waiting for. But standing beside me is the head of compliance at ORC. Sandra, how are you doing?
I'm okay, thank you very much.
All right, Sandra, before we step into why you're here, tell us what you're thinking about the vibe here right now.
It's great. It's starting. This is the first day, but it looks like it's picking up, so it's good. Yeah. I'm hoping by afternoon time it should pick up even.
It would be brutal, trust me. So why Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair? Why did you decide to merge forces with Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair?
Yes, so we realized that this is a fair that is going to promote businesses. And ORC, Office of the Registrar of Companies, that is what we are for. We register companies, businesses in the country. So wanted to take advantage and then get more people to come on board the registration process. So here we will do fresh registrations for people. Those who want to renew their businesses will renew for them as well. So that is why I wanted to take advantage and then join your fair.
It sounds exciting already, but tell us what exactly ORC stands for.
Office of the Registrar of Companies is the institution that handles all sorts of registrations in Ghana. So our mandate is to register, educate, and then regulate companies in Ghana.
All right, so before we go, tell people who are still making up their minds why they should be here at Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair.
Your question again, sir?
Tell people who are still making up their minds to be here why they should be here.
They should be here because when they get here, they are not only going to patronize the businesses that are having their products here, but they also get to register their business. Yeah. They get to renew their business. Yeah. So it becomes a one-stop shop for them. Yeah. So I think they should come on board.
Yeah, absolutely. It becomes a one-stop shop for everything Ghana. If you are not here, guys, trust me, there's the time to take it on your date that you will make it a point to be here. Now, let's zoom in still and, check out some of the companies that are already standing or setting up. I see already MG Foods and Trading, and I see Clinell. I see Nancy Beasley setting up there, and we also have some special Gary mix from JW Foods. I'll be speaking to some folks from JW Foods real soon. All right. Hey, this place looks very colorful, and I'm excited. Now you're making me hungry.
Oh, really?
You're making me hungry already.
This is winter special gari milk.
Okay.
Yeah, we have the milk and the chocolate. Yeah, the milk has coconut flakes. It has tiger nuts too, and then this one has raisins and it has chocolate inside. It's very nice. We have the jollof mix. With the jollof mix, we have the 3 kg and the 6
Hold your horses. What is jollof mix exactly?
winter special jollof mix. It has every ingredient inside needed already. So what you have to do is you just put it on fire, pour water on it, and that is it.
And I have to add my rice.
No, we have the rice and everything inside.
It's the first time I'm hearing this. Oh, I see.
Yours is just to pour water on it. With 12 minutes, it's done.
Wow, you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. So there is more to come here, guys. Now, I'm getting surprised already. Jollof mix. All you need is hot water, and you have your jollof on a plate. Exciting things coming up right here at the Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair. More is to come. More is to come. We cannot wait to host you. We cannot wait to embrace you. And so, Rosalind Felly, why don't you take over and see you in a bit?
Jollof mix. My goodness. Listen, guys. I am going to get that jollof mix. I was just discussing with Selassie. Like, is that
This is for a good jollof, then you're in business.
I kid you not. So all
Yeah,
you
in
need is hot water. You put it.
12 minutes.
What? No way. And we can only get.
You know how jollof takes a long
This
time
may
to
be a
cook?
red flag for men.
Why so though? Why so?
Because some men want their women to be able to cook and to cook their jollof completely.
Okay.
They
That's
want
a
the
red
lo-
flag.
That's right. That's right. That may be a red flag for you.
That's a red flag. I want to say a very big thank you to all of you for making it here today. We are very grateful. Selassie Doku and, of course, Frank Love. Thank you all so much. You want to say something before we go?
Keep in mind, we're all flawed.
Okay.
And no matter what, we're all flawed, and it's more important to look at your flaws and becoming the best partner you can be than it is to be judging someone else.
Fantastic. Enjoy the rest of your day. My name is Rosalind Felly. Let's go to the good park now. Bye.